What is happening today, traders? Welcome to Traps Trades. I'm hoping that you guys are staying caffeinated and motivated on this Thursday. I am actually enjoying a nice, crisp, sparkling ice energy berry blast. Got to stay caffeinated, keep the wheels moving, the oil on the engine. However, today we're going to go over stock ticker DJT. And I was actually planning to make this video prior to all the keeping up with the Kardashians-esque drama that happened today in the market. Just a silly, wacky day where you had Elon Musk tweet at Donald Trump and then Donald Trump respond and Elon finally fired back saying that the Epstein files weren't released because of Donald J. Trump. So super interesting stuff there. Market puked, crypto market included. Tesla finished the day down about 12 to 18%. It's down in after hours as well. And DJT finished down just as bad, about 10%, and then down 2% in the after hours trading. But this is the kind of volatility that I love. I love to capitalize on the overreactions by the market, because this, at the end of the day, is a wash, in my opinion. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Do not do or act on anything that I tell you here. I'm just a caffeine degenerate and a retail trader. But let's get into the technical analysis here. In DJT, you have a long-term wedge forming here. Looks like since about early 2024. And this is on the daily. Now, what I like about this chart particularly is you're starting to get close to the pinnacle of the wedge. And you do have a solid uptrend here dating back from 925. You saw a nice pop and then the retrace. And so now you're sitting right around 1989 in after hours trading. And if I was to bet on this stock, I'd be looking particularly near the end of this wedge, right around $17. And I would set some kind of alarm if I was going to get into this trade around $17.50. That way you're aware once the stock drops. And I do think it'll see that healthy decline here. You just had the 9-day moving average slice through the 50. So typically with the moving averages, it's a lagging indicator, but it does tell momentum pretty well. So I would wait for that $17 retest of this uptrend. And once that happens, personally, I'm going to put in $500. But you do you do what's best for you and your family. And then you could look for the possible test right around $20. And then past this wedge, you're looking potentially for a gap fill of about $40 flat. So, like I said, I believe that this is an overreaction by the market. And so this is kind of what you hear a lot of people say: buy the fear, buy the uncertainty, because that's when things become underpriced. That's when things and people start to think irrationally. But that is for DJT. I'm going to jump into the weekly here, and I'll delete this kind of smaller. And if we zoom out here, you can see actually you have, since the IPO, downtrend here that's kind of reaching the pinnacle. So I expect some volatility here, and I expect it to make a pretty nasty, stupid move once you get past this downtrend, because this is a downtrend that's been since the inception. And you can the one thing I will say, I do not like this increase in red volume. I'd like to see that taper down as you get closer to the pinnacle of the wedge. But that's what I got for DJT. It's more of a skeptical play. I would definitely set my stop loss so that you do not get trapped right around like 1650. And then for me, that makes a pretty nice upside trade. I mean, when you look at trades, I like to see what is the risk to reward. If I set my stop loss at 650, I'm risking 5-10% for a potential gain if I enter at $17, potential gain, and I go to that gap fill about 135%. So, of course, not financial advice. You do you, but I'm going to get into my next stock here, and that is SoFi Technologies. This is a tech-based stock, and I like the setup here. It looks nice when you look at the MACD indicator that you are curling up not just on the daily, but you're also curling up on the weekly. And so this is rare. From what I've seen during trading, you don't see this often. So you're having a significant upswing in bullish momentum, and you also have a weekly golden cross that had occurred. From looking at the chart, you're in this descending channel here, and there is the possibility that you break. And if you break right here, let's say you knife down to the 9-day, and you test the 9-day and you fail at about 13 flat. I would look for an entry right around $12. $12, so you test that golden cross, and then you ride it. Let me make a little drawing tool. So let's say you knife, test, knife, and then you test that golden cross, and then you kind of just trade sideways until you're out, and then you could see greater momentum. But beyond that, let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm making squiggly lines. Beyond that, you have a nice technical setup here and this nice U-shaped accumulation. If you look a little bit more in the micro, you can see a pattern that I really like, 3 rising valleys. So let's draw it out really quick. It is a fantastic bullish continuation pattern. So what you would look for in the macro would be top, bottom, top, bottom, and then potentially another top. So the reason it's called 3 rising valleys is you have the 1, the 2, and then this would be your third into testing the all-time highs potentially. You could also see this, because I understand you can interpret this stock multiple ways. You could see it as a potential cup and handle pattern. And to get that, you would take the bottom here to the neckline, so right about there, and then you would do it on the break of the cup. And so this would get you close to all-time highs. So I like the technical setup for SoFi. I think it is geared for something in the future, and I think it's geared to make a nasty, nasty move, considering you have this nice accumulative pattern, you have the weekly golden cross, you have the weekly MACD about to cross, and then you have the daily MACD about to cross. When I look for a trade, I look for confluence. And so what the confluence means in terms of trading is I want to see multiple indicators pointing up. And then I kind of make my thesis and I make my own plan on when to enter. I think personally that I will be getting in this trade right around, if it does break down to the golden cross test, or potentially if it breaks up and then comes back down and tests this longer term downtrend. But that's what I got today, guys, from Traps Trades. Guys, make sure you follow Jim Cramer so you can understand when to buy the top and to sell the bottom. For me, I'm playing, guys. Stay caffeinated, stay motivated, and make sure you tell someone you love them.